Hey folks, welcome to TK Power Sports and here to sunny Florida. We're down here on Alligator Lake today, and that's because we have this. That's the 2025 Sea-Doo Switch Fish. It's a purpose-built boat to make sure you can go out and land the big one, and that's exactly what we're going to try to do in this video. And then of course, we'll just take it for a boot. I'll talk about handling, power, docking, and we'll do a top speed run, so make sure you stay tuned. Let's start with the important numbers on this boat. So the Switch Fish can be had in either 18 or 21 foot lengths and with two different power outputs, either a 170 horsepower or 230 horsepower version. Although once you step up into the 21 footer, you have to get the 230 horsepower, and that's exactly what you're looking at here in this video. Now the overall length on this boat is listed as at 20.4 feet. Overall width here, or the beam, is listed at 93.5 inches, while overall height comes in at 81.1 inches, and that is with the bimini down. Now the estimated net weight on this boat with oil and coolant but with no fuel is listed at 2,889 pounds. Finally, let's talk load capacity. In the United States, this boat, as you see it, can handle up to 10 people or 1,485 pounds. Well, folks, we're out here fishing now. We're on Alligator Lake, just outside of St. Cloud, Florida. And we're actually doing some fishing this morning, and what better way to show off the features of this boat than by, trying to land a big one. So right now, I want to go over all the things that are on this Switch Fish. First of all, dual Garmin fish finders. So one here sort of at the helm position, and then you get one up at the front, because that's where you're mostly going to be sitting while you're actually fishing. So the other things we have here, a huge LiveWell. This is obviously important if you're out there catching fish. The beauty of it, you can see it's actually feeding fresh water in and out. There's a couple lines that hook up in the back. You can also use those lines just to spray things down and clean them off. So I appreciate that functionality too. Truly, the biggest selling feature on the Switch overall is this modular floor. Basically, everything you see on this boat can be moved. You can put it exactly where you want it, including these fishing pedestal seats. So I'm gonna move this one now. It's pretty easy to identify because everywhere you're gonna be unlocking it's gonna be that light lime green kind of color. So we reach down, unlock it, that whole thing pops out. I'm just gonna move it back one square here. Falls back in place. Oh, there we go. And then lock it back in. And now that's solid. Again, such a huge selling feature because you can buy this boat and set it up exactly as you want it. Are you fishing by yourself? Put it in the center position. Fishing with a couple of people, you can make sure you're all gonna fit in here. And then heck, if you don't want these couches back here, you want more pedestals, you can put them back there too. So again, the modular nature of the boat is truly one of the biggest selling features. And that includes all of these things up here on the rail. You can move all of your rod holders, your bumpers, your cup holders even, because they have a smaller version of the link system. And that really, again, allows you to put things exactly where you want them. So now that I'm up here, why don't we do some fishing? And I'm gonna use the Garmin trolling motor that also comes with this boat. Now, the one thing I really like, it has a slick storage position down here in this big box. And then this couch here sort of hides the rest of it, which is really nice. And it's all controlled off of a remote. So right now I have it in anchor, so it's just keeping us exactly where we wanna go, or exactly where we are, I should say. But we're here on the edge of this big weed bed. So I'm gonna take it off of anchor. And I'm just gonna use it to kind of bring us right along the edge of these weeds. Now I'm just in manual mode right now, but if you wanted, you could also pre-map exactly where this trolling motor can take you. So if you were on this lake, you could set waypoints along this weed bed, along a shoreline, along whatever you want, and that thing is just gonna take you there. And it's actually pretty powerful too. I'm gonna crank it all the way up right now. It gets this boat moving. That's 2.5 miles per hour, according to my little screen here on the remote. Oh, almost 3 miles an hour. which again for fishing is a ton, and just for moving around within an area like this, yeah, it's great, great functionality, easy to use, nice to have the remote control so you can also do it from anywhere on the boat, so it doesn't matter where you're fishing at, you're always in control. And then let's say this is as far as I want to go. I see a nice little inlet over there, sort of between these weed beds. So then I'm just going to mash the anchor button. It goes into anchor lock mode, and it will now lock us in this new position. That, yeah, truly couldn't be any easier. And I will say, I don't have a lot of experience with trolling motors, and the fact that I was able to get on here, figure it out right away, and use it to maximize our chances of catching a fish just shows you how simple it really is. And now, yeah, let's throw some casts and see if we can't pull something out of the lake. Heck yeah, right at the last second too, man. Hey buddy, hey buddy, check out that guy. Oh, he's got some gnarly teeth. Yeah, hold on, pal. Actually, if you want to come open the LiveWell, we might as well put him in. Nice. Oh, look at that pro. Heck yeah, successful day. That's all we needed. Well, now we've been out, we've caught our fish. Time to head back for lunch. So let's talk about how this thing actually handles out here on the water. First of all, when you hit the throttle, it gets up out of the water pretty quickly. I like that. I like the power delivery off the line, sort of get up on plane. And yeah, it feels nice. It's not an insanely powerful engine. I don't want to give you the wrong impression either, especially compared to some of the other things in the Sea-Doo lineup. But for this kind of a boat, it's more than enough. Pontoons generally spend their lives doing slow speed cruising, so for that, no problem at all. Let's talk handling, and it's certainly one of the things that differentiates the Switch from other pontoon boats as well. So when I put it into a corner here at 20 miles per hour, the real key is that it doesn't flat corner like other pontoon boats. It actually leans into that corner, feels like it digs into the water a little bit, and that is confidence inspiring. It feels really good and feels more playful than the majority of other pontoon boats that I have been in. So you can do that slow speed cruising, but once your speeds pick up, you do want to have a bit of fun. I would say this is probably one of the more, if not the most, fun pontoon boat that you're going to find. Now the other big difference here is just the fact that it's handlebars. It's not a steering wheel. That's something else you get used to on most boats. So it's a bit of an adjustment. If you've ever been on a Sea-Doo PWC though, you're going to be used to this right away. Now I do want to talk through some of the features. I think one of the most important features here is the cruise control. And I heard that comment a lot on our initial Switch review, is people said, well, if I do just want to cruise, I don't want to have to be sitting here holding that throttle constantly, because on traditional boats, you use that throttle lever, you put it down, and you forget it. Well, Sea-Doo knows that, and that's why they have cruise control. So again, I'm doing 20 miles per hour, I hold the cruise control button, cruise on, and now look, I can take my hand off the throttle, and we're cruising right at 20. It's gonna stick you at that speed. And this is important. Again, I totally get that point. You don't want to be sitting here modulating your throttle constantly, especially if you're out for a peaceful cruise, and you don't have to. So yes, cruise control, very important. We do have variable trim settings here for the jet back there, so you can adjust the angle of your bow, bring it up, bring it down in the water, whatever you want to do. Outside of that, we also have drive modes, sport mode, eco mode, and then just normal mode. So it depends what you're going for. They're pretty obvious. Eco is going to save you fuel, sport mode is going to maximize performance, and normal's somewhere in the middle. So yeah, features feel good. The screen in front of me is nice and clear, easy to read. I think that Sea-Doo was also going for ease of use here. This boat is being pitched as a first-time buyer's boat. This might be the first boat you've ever been on, and they wanted to make it as easy as possible to jump on and figure it out. And I do think they've accomplished it. It takes 2 seconds to understand the controls, they're intuitive, and away you go. Now the other kind of larger point I want to make is this is the Switch Fish, and I showed you all of the fishing accessories and all of the things that come along with this boat that make it so good for fishing, but you can put them all away in a matter of minutes, and then it's just a regular pontoon boat. And that's again the beauty of this package. If you're really into fishing, this is going to help you. You're going to appreciate the features. And then on the weekend, if you want to load your family up and just go cruising on the lake, you can do that too. Heck, you can even switch out those pedestal chairs, bring in more couches because of the modular nature of the floor, and really transform your boat. So even though this is the fishing version of the boat, essentially what that just means is they're giving you all the accessories right from the factory. They can call it a fish all they want. It's still just the Switch, and that's what I love about it too. It's not so singularly focused on fishing that you can't just come out here with your kids and your wife and have a great time on the water. I also want to mention slow mode. So if I hit the cruise control button while we're just cruising along slowly, it gives me 9 different settings within about 0 to 5 miles per hour. So right now I've got it on setting 7, and that's going to cruise us along at about 4 miles per hour. I don't have to touch the throttle. The whole purpose of this is trolling. So if you're not using the trolling motor, you can actually still just use the actual engine to cruise along nice and slow and keep you at one set speed. And then I also just want to say it's great for trolling, but I feel like it's also just good for cruising. A lot of people just want a slow speed cruise, and they're going to be able to do that and really, finally pinpoint those speeds. And then at speeds quicker than this, you can then use the cruise control to have the boat hold that speed. One thing on this boat that you can't move around is the helm and the driver's seat. So this stuff is all fixed, and I just want to kind of take you through it now. So first of all, we do get this nice storage up here, quite deep down in there. Always nice to have a spot to stash your stuff, keep it out of the elements. Moving back, all my controls are right here at my hands. We have audio controls right up here for the stereo, so you can get your music on the go. Of course, a pair of cup holders. Because this is the Fish, we have our 7-inch Garmin up here. Down below, a little glove box, so some more storage. And you have power in that glove box as well with a pair of USB ports. So if you want to toss your phone in and charge it, you can. And then finally, I'll just go over all the controls down here. So we have our LiveWell right there. You can turn it on, or you can put it on a timer to make sure it's not going to kill your battery. You have your courtesy lights here. Honk, honk, there's your horn. Navigation lights next to that. And then you have a bilge pump and a blower switch down there as well. So again, I like the helm. Everything's really simple to understand and easy to get to from this seating position. There's a few hidden tricks underneath the floor as well. Back here, you have engine access. Of course, that's important. And what I like to see is right away, there's a battery cutoff switch, there's my oil dipstick, and my coolant reservoir. 3 of the big things that you're gonna need to get to here on this boat, and they're all easy to access. That is obviously important if you're doing your own maintenance. And then up in front of there, you can also open up and access a big storage down in the floor. Again, more storage is always better, especially if you're doing something like fishing. There's so much gear that comes along with it, so nice to have that be so well integrated, and it hides your stuff away as well. And that's 30 miles an hour and full brake. Nice. Well, that's demonstrating the brakes here on this Switch, and they work pretty well. Now, I think it's always a good disclaimer to say you shouldn't count on the brakes if you're on a boat. That's just not how you should be driving. But if you need those in an emergency, it's nice to know they're there, and it does slow this thing down quite a bit quicker than if you didn't have them. And yeah, in terms of the boating industry, that's unique. This is the only boat that you're gonna find that has brakes like this. Let's talk about docking now, one of the biggest pain points most boat owners will experience. And you have to remember, this is a jet-propelled boat, so it's not going to handle the same as a boat that even has a outboard on the back, because the real thing is when I'm in neutral, I can manipulate the handlebars and it changes the direction a tiny bit, but it doesn't have a big effect. You have to have that forward propulsion to actually be steering the boat. And again, this is a trickier docking situation because I gotta do a hook a hard right 90-degree turn here. So it's gonna test my skills and the boat. Now, basic operation here, if you pop the left lever, you go into neutral. If you pop the right, you go into forward. And then for reverse, you hold the left while manipulating the right, and that allows you to reverse. And I think the biggest, most important tip I was ever given when docking is little inputs. You don't want to be going lock to lock, lock to lock. You want to just be doing small, little inputs as slow as possible. And then obviously you want to watch sort of the current of the water and the wind. It's pretty calm here today, so that's basically a non-issue. I'll give her just a little hit of reverse there. A little forward, back into neutral. And that's the other key, is just sort of that forward to neutral. I do like the visibility here too. I can kind of see my corners. Oh, I'm drifting a little hard. Reverse to slow myself down. I'm gonna rub on that post a little bit, but that's what the rubber bumpers are for. But yeah, there you go. And we're in place. So I will say that because it's the jet boat, there's a bit more of a learning curve here with slow speed maneuvering than some other boats you're gonna find. But once you figure it out and you kind of get that forward, reverse, neutral, you kind of get in the flow of things, it's no problem. If you were to buy one of these boats, you got to practice. You definitely have to practice that to make sure you're going to get smooth with it. But once you understand the dynamics of the boat and how it's being driven, yeah, I didn't really have any problem with that docking experience at all. Now it's time for the top speed run here on the Switch Fish. This is the 21-footer with the 230 horsepower engine. So right in front of me, we have the traditional speedometer, but up here, the Garmin also has its own GPS-based speedometer. So it's going to be interesting to see the difference between the two, and yeah, to see how quickly we can get this boat moving. Got it in sport mode. Let's hit it and see what it does. Well, there you have it, folks. I do appreciate having the Garmin speedometer because it's a little bit more accurate. It was showing about 34.7 miles per hour when the Sea-Doo speedometer was showing 35. But yes, I think top speed here on this boat is right around 35 miles per hour. Well, folks, we are coming to the end of this one, and I can call it a successful day because we brought at least one fish on board today. So I do have to spit out pricing at you now. Here in the United States, this Switch Fish starts around $44,000. The version we're on here today is gonna sell for 50 grand. In Canada, this boat starts at around $55,000, and this version of it, which is the most expensive version, is gonna sell for about 62 grand. So yes, that is pretty expensive, like most things are these days, but when you compare it to the traditional bass boats that are out there, this is way less expensive, not as sporty, you're not getting the crazy top speed, but arguably this is way more versatile. Like I said earlier, you can go fishing all day, then take 2 minutes to take some of that gear off, take your family out and have a great time. So this boat really can do it all. And yeah, if fishing is your #1 priority, I think it's really well outfitted to get out here, have a great day on the water, and just make life that much easier if you're trying to land a big one. And I'm still trying, because, you know, 2 fish is always better than 1. But yeah, folks, that's it for this one. Now, please drop into the comments. Let me know your thoughts on this Sea-Doo Switch Fish. As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member of our channel, and then come right back here to TK Power Sports to see what we're testing next. See ya.